I now call the Iberia Parish Council meeting to order for August 9th, 2023. The current time now is 6 o'clock. I have the prayer led by Councilman Olivier and the pledge by Councilman Rawson. Councilman Olivier.
Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit, amen. We meet here today to serve our community, to use our resources wisely and well, to represent all members of our community fairly, to make decisions to promote the common good. We recognize our responsibility to the past and to the future, and the rights and needs of both individuals and communities. As trusted servants, we seek blessing on our deliberations and on our efforts here today. May we act wisely and well. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Father, Son, Holy Spirit. Amen.
Councilman Rawson.
Please face the flag. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, gentlemen. Madam Clerk, please initiate the roll call.
Tommy Pollard.
Here.
Michael Landry.
Here.
Marcus Broussard.
Here.
Lloyd Brown.
Here.
Warren Gustafson.
Here.
Natalie Broussard.
Here.
Paul Landry.
Here.
James Coha.
Here.
Scott Rossiter.
Here.
Eugene Olivier.
Here.
Brian Napier.
Here.
Lady Sonia Brown. Here. Scott Sonye.
Here.
Chad Monterey.
Here. 14 members in a quorum. I need a motion to go into public comments. I have a motion by Councilman Pollard, second by Councilman Trahone. All those in favor will signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Hearing no opposition, the ayes have it. The motion carries unanimously. We're now into public comments. Just before we start, I want to apologize to the members of the public that's here tonight and the ones that will be watching tomorrow. Unfortunately, our system is down, so everything will be voice voted. There won't be any. Won't be able to see the agenda on the big screen, so we apologize in advance. We do have number one, Madam Clerk.
One comments from the general public on agenda items.
We do have one from Ms. Tyra McWhorter. She is addressing agenda item number 154. If you could just state your name, I'm sure you're going to do a lot better than I did.
My name is Tyra McWhorter,
Your address, please.
1231 Gale Street, New Iberia.
And you represent an organization, correct?
Yes, the GPL Foundation and the New Iberia Teen Court.
Thank you. Welcome.
Thank y'all. I just wanted to say a little brief about the resource center we want to bring here. We want to bring it here so different organizations and services could be all under one roof. When we deal with the juveniles, it takes months before the services could get here. But if we under one roof, it'll take hours. It goes through this chain of all kind of things. So we want to bring something here that could help us help the kids and their families in a faster way that we're doing right now. That's it. Thank y'all.
Members, are there any questions?
I just want to say thank your organization for this good job you're doing.
Thank you. Yes, we're trying.
I concur with Councilman Brown. We appreciate all the work you're doing for our young
Thank
people.
you.
We do have a question by Councilman Sonye.
Yes.
Of course, the train's going to pass right now, but when you say bring something here, what exactly is it a physical structure?
Yes, a structure. It's a center.
Okay.
So it'd be a center where we could house all of the organizations and services all under one roof.
Okay.
We don't have it here. We're in different areas, so we get referrals and we got, you got to go talk to them. So it takes time to get all the services we need under one roof. Okay, go next to the next room. We could do things faster.
All right. Thank you.
Councilman Sonye yields back. Councilman Broussard on the question.
Yeah, thank you for everything that you guys do. Judge Hike and Bo came in several months ago maybe and talked about a juvenile facility and working with I think it was 8, 9 parishes.
Yes.
Is that any correlation with what you guys are doing? Is there any synergies or anything you guys have with them?
Well, with that, with a juvenile facility, they're gonna house them. We're not housing any, we're just working with them. So the benefit in that, once they get out, they'll have a re-entry program where the kids can come out and still get the services to keep them, to get them back into the community and doing what they need to be done.
Okay, so it's kind of taking it from that point and
Yes,
acclimating them back. To
Correct.
Okay, cool.
Councilman Broussard yields back.
Thank
Anyone
you.
else on questions, members? Hearing none. Thank you again for being here. We appreciate
Thank
all
you.
y'all do. I need a motion to go back into regular session. I have a motion by Councilman Pollard. Did I have a second by Brown? Second by Councilman Brown. Roll call, members. Those in favor will signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed? Hearing no opposition, the ayes have it. The motion carries unanimously. Moving on to community events and public service announcements. There is none. Reports from finance and administrative actions. Number 1, Madam Clerk.
Balance sheets for June 2023, copy on request.
Number 2,
Budget reports for June 2023, copy on request.
reports from parish or other governmental agencies. Number 1, Madam Clerk.
Mr. John Marceau with the Police Jury Association to thank Iberia Parish for participation in their program.
Members, just to let you know, we have to omit this item at this time. Mr. Marceau will join us at the next meeting. Moving on to public works reports, there is none. Special business, there is none. Council member announcements. Members, anyone? Councilmember Saunier?
Yeah, I have 2. First, the 16th through the 20th of August is the Delcom Shrimp Festival. I want to invite everybody to please come to our small community. It's a pretty good time. They've got some great food. We've got good entertainment. It's a little hot, so come drink some cold beer. No, I'm not. I'm buying me some food. That's what I'm going to buy. I think for the first time in a long time, it probably won't rain, which is probably not the best thing. But again, 16th through the 20th, please come by. The second item or comment that I would like to make is more of one of appreciation. We've had an ongoing issue on Railroad Road for quite a while with vehicles and other movables parked on the median and some of them in the road. I want to thank the District Attorney's Office, specifically Ian, Jacob with Planning and Zoning, Sheriff Tommy Romero and the Sheriff's Department, and their staff and anybody else who participated. I don't think there was any ill intent by the resident, but at the same time, this was an issue that was creating some safety issues in my opinion, and through the collective efforts of all of those groups, I think we got that taken care of in a satisfactory manner. So again, thanks to everybody who participated in that.
Councilmember Saunier yields back. Anyone else? Councilmember Olivier is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. A couple of announcements. The Grand Mary Community Development Board is sponsoring their 12th annual town hall meeting August the 24th of 2023 of this month, 6:30 p.m. The meeting will be held at Mon Ami in Grand Mary, located at 7304 Highway 90 East, Jeanerette, Louisiana. Also, the Lydia Cancer Association is sponsoring their 18th annual Fête de Dos and Lydia Cajun Food Fest. It will be held on Friday, September the 8th and Saturday, September the 9th in the Weeks Parks in Lydia. This is the 20th anniversary of their organization giving this event. Please come. Thank you.
Councilmember Olivier yields back. Councilwoman Broussard is recognized.
Yeah, although it didn't make this week's agenda, I did want to extend my condolences to Mr. Landry and his family for the loss of his mother. I'm sure it'll be on the agenda next week, but I didn't want 2 weeks to go by without us extending publicly our condolences to you and your family.
Councilwoman Broussard yields back. Anyone else, members? Hearing none. Moving on to parish president announcements. Mr. Boulanger.
Good evening. Just to kind of add to what Councilman Saunier said, we'd also like to thank the Iberia Parish Sheriff's Department for what they did in helping to clear out Railroad Road. Waterworks 3 in Coteau, due to the severe drought and increased consumption in water, Waterworks number 3 needed to shut water off for a couple of nights in order to build up the water levels. This also enabled contractors to install a new 12-inch water line inside the plant to help increase flow. We appreciate the customers of Waterworks number 3 for their patience at this time. Iberia Parish litter abatement, Saturday, July 29th. Crews picked up a total of 101 bags of trash. The trash was picked up in the areas of Right Way Road, St. Peter Street, East Admiral Doyle Drive to Canal Street in Jeanerette, Pellerin Street, and Monarch Street. And I would now, with the council's permission, I'd like to call up Prescott Marshall, our director of Iberia Parish Homeland Security, to come to the podium to give an update on the evacuation routes in the event of an emergency, and also to give us an update on the Park Purdue Regional Detention Facility.
Without objection, so ordered. If you could just state your name and title for the record, please.
Prescott Marshall, Iberia Parish Government Director of Emergency Preparedness and Homeland Security. Evacuation routes first. I don't know how many people remember this. This is before my time, but during the evacuation from New Orleans for Hurricane Katrina, there were backups all the way from Lafayette to here. because the lights on Evangeline Thruway were not synchronized. And this problem has long since been solved, but as a result of that, we had, I don't know what that is, 10, 15 miles worth of backup. And so many people ran out of gas here that our church is sheltered, I think on the order of more than 300 people. So just to give you a benchmark that this is an issue that's been demonstrated or experienced before. With the construction on Highway 90 right now, you've all probably driven it. You know there's spots where it gets very narrow. If we get a major evacuation again, we know that there's about 1 million people that live between here and St. Bernard Parish. St. Bernard, Jefferson, Plaquemine, Orleans, and on up this way. And it's surprising how many of these people, when you start investigating, plan on using Highway 90 to evacuate. We've met once already with the state agencies. We have another meeting next week on Thursday that I'm inviting our law enforcement to and our fire departments to. But the bottom line is parish government is doing public messaging, and I enlist your assistance and guidance on how best to educate our people. If we get a big evacuation, and it doesn't even have to be a storm here, all it takes is a wreck in that zone. And we've already had multiple bad wrecks. We've had vehicle fires and injury accidents that are very difficult to clear. I mean, they can't even get to the wreck until they back up maybe 30 or 40 vehicles. And of course, in evacuation, you got people driving vehicles they don't normally drive, or towing trailers they don't normally tow, taking the big expensive RV they're not used to driving because they're not leaving it. If we get a wreck, it's going to totally block Highway 90. And our community has no experience, no memory of what it's like to have at least tens of thousands of vehicles trying to cut through. When you multiply that or amplify that by the fact that everybody now has traffic apps like Waze or Google Maps, it will tell you, oh, okay, it's backed up, take 182. So what we're not used to is we could have tens of thousands of vehicles trying to take 182, and then that will gridlock, is my fear, when they start hitting all the lights. And they'll start taking Admiral Doyle. I've played with Waze. It'll actually take you up Laurelville Road. You know how Waze, you probably all know it'll give you different routes. So this is a hazard that our people and our businesses are not accustomed to preparing for. But we could have an event that starts further away from us. We have so many people coming through here, we're not able to complete our own preparations. We've been talking, the first responder agencies have been talking about how do we make sure that fire and EMS are able to move around the community if we get this kind of traffic. So I would just enlist everybody, all the council members' assistance and guidance on how do we educate our people and businesses. If you're in the Port of Iberia or Delcom or Lydia, I'm not sure you can cross over Highway 90 because DOTD's plans potentially close Pattouville Road, Darnell Road, Weeks Island Road, Lewis Street, Center Street, and there's some scenarios you can envision where we might have to detour traffic all the way up to, I think, 675. So I'd be happy to come speak to any group where it would help to put this word out. I'm just worried people who think I can work up until 2 p.m. and run to Lowe's. Well, guess what? If the measures DOTD has in place are implemented, Lowe's will be inaccessible because detour traffic will be taking that part of Highway 14 and Center Street. So I hate to use the word unprecedented, but I think it's an unprecedented problem for us to have this much traffic potentially trying to get through our surface streets. Are there any questions on the issue of Highway 90 construction before I move to Park Purdue?
We do
Yes,
have a
sir.
question by Councilman Saunier.
Yeah, Press, I think the letter that went out maybe created a little confusion, I'm not sure. I got several calls where people were pretty angry that they would not be able to get in and out of town. I'm just curious, do they not have some traffic control type of plan that would allow people to cross, or they're just gonna shut the road down?
That's not clear.
Wait, before you move on, the fact that it's not clear tells me we should have never put the message out, because we don't know. I think we need more information before we just send something out like that and we can't answer the question. So I would ask that this be revisited and it be adjusted some way. Get with DOTD and find out how this is gonna work, because I didn't have an answer.
I've been trying for 2 months, and I don't want to throw anyone under the bus, but I think it's a valid criticism. We did not have all the answers, and after the Cindy, if you help me remember, after the meeting next week, I will publish through parish government an updated version of this document.
Okay, thanks.
Councilman Sonia yields back. Councilman Landry on the question.
Prescott, are we trying to talk to the other counterparts, you know, in those areas and explaining to them the problem? Where they
Are
could
the other
try-
parishes?
Yeah, that
Yes.
they would try to divert the people, tell them, don't take 90.
Yes, we are. That's exactly what we're doing, particularly with Terrebonne Parish, because they've got HOMA. So I've been speaking with my counterpart there every week.
Councilman Landry yields back. Councilman Olivier on the question.
Press, if there's a way we can keep at least Patouville Road flowing across, I think it'll help out a lot with people, especially in my area, getting to the city and so forth. Now, as far as going on the west side in Chad's area, maybe Jefferson Island Road, I guess, maybe, whatever. If we can keep traffic flowing, or at least on the two far ends of the parish, it might be a good idea to do that. You know,
I
crossing,
agree.
yeah.
These are not parish government plans. These are
I know,
DOTD
but
plans.
we may have some influence on those plans, okay?
I'm using all I got.
Councilman Olivier yields back. Anyone else? If you want to close, press, you have that.
On the Park Purdue grant situation, this is taken way too long for a grant to come to the point where we start paying someone to do, in this case, engineering work first. In a phased hazard mitigation project, FEMA will say, here's enough money to do phase one, where you do the engineering work. You show us that the engineering shows you will accrue the benefits of the project you're proposing. So right now, we've got about $300,000 in change, which you all appropriated as soon as we got the grant, probably 3 weeks ago. If that phase one study is accepted by FEMA, we will move on to the actual construction. But it's been delayed, I don't know, like 2 years. First of all, the state had to figure out how to weave community development block grant funding into this to pay the 25% share, which we did not have for this. I think it's a $5 million project. Then GOSEP did not cover itself with glory. They've been hiring a lot of contractors to fill vacant positions, and there was turnover, and we had repeated issues with what should have been a very minor problem to fix, where the grant we got had too much money in admin and no money in engineering. It was extremely frustrating. That took months, maybe close to a year to fix. That problem was finally corrected, which led to us getting the grant award for the phase one funding, which you appropriated. As soon as Mr. Richard signs the resolution, Michael Broussard is going to issue a task order to Fenster-Maker to start the engineering work, which I think they've already been working on, to be honest. Am I missing anything, Bo, on the Park Purdue status? Any questions? I know this is a question from the council. Did I answer any questions from the council?
Marcher?
I think so. I've been dealing with this for
Here's Mike.
probably 8 years. I think when we first got in 8 years.
Your mic, Chad, if you can, please.
I'm guessing. So we don't know what engineering's done, or have we even figured out what land we're gonna use and stuff like that? Any of that's been done?
Yes. In one part of this phase one engineering study is determined the exact location of these two ponds is what I'm thinking of. And I know there's a question about what land are they on. The engineering will establish the exact location of where those ponds are going to go. So I don't think we can answer that question tonight. I don't know, but I suspect that Fenster-Maker has already done a lot of that work, and not much remains to be done to complete that phase one. I think of it as a feasibility study.
I think last time Dax had come, he had said that they had identified some potential areas, and I guess it was left at that. And
There was a couple of different points that they looked at,
Yeah.
properties, yeah.
I mean, we way behind the 8-ball. Youngsville has pretty much got theirs dug, and here we are just with our finger up our butt, I guess. All right, thanks.
Thank you, Councilman Mathurin. Press, you have the right to close at this point. Is there anything?
Nothing
else?
further. I would just again offer if there's any groups that I could go speak to talk about this issue with Highway 90 and the unexperienced possible second order effects that we're really not familiar with, I'd be eager to take up that opportunity.
Good. Thank you for being here.
And again, it's probably going to be about for the next 2 years, this year, and we probably have 2 more hurricane seasons before that project is done. So it's worth investing some time in educating our folks on how it affects their preparations.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate you
Yes, sir.
being here. Mr. Boulanger, you still have the floor. Are you finished?
Yes, sir.
Okay, members, we'll have a slight adjustment by request and without objection. We'll move to summary number 155, introduced by Warren P. Gostishan, District 5. Madam Clerk.
A resolution in support of a subzone site within the foreign trade zone for Global Risers USA LLC.
Do you have a motion? Have a motion by Councilman Saunier, second by Councilman Rawson. Councilman Saunier, discussion. Councilman Rawson. We do have Port Director Romero here, and I think he'll be able to report to you that the school board favorably adopted, correct?
Yes, the school board voted last Wednesday night unanimous to support the application. This is one company, a foreign company from Cape Town, South Africa, Global Risers, whom you saw the video on, I think, a couple of weeks ago. We're fortunate because the people that bought out Frank's at the Port of Iberia were planning to close that facility, that 117 acres, and made us aware of it a couple of years ago. We started negotiating, got appraisals done, and we bought it for a lot less than what the appraisal was. But this company from Cape Town, South Africa says, we'll take the entire yard. So they're working with the company that bought Frank's. They're working with Expro, moving out, and the new company, Global Risers, is moving in. But this is part of the process. All they're doing, that is a foreign trade zone today for Frank's. And they have to step out, and the new company has to apply on its own with all its financial information so that the federal government is satisfied. So that's what this is. One stepping out, these people are stepping in their shoes on that property, and we've got a lease till 2044 for that property from this company. And this company is located because of Seadrill and Valaris maintaining their riser systems all over the world. It's an international company. We're lucky they bring the equipment here from foreign countries. We do the work on the equipment, and it goes to another foreign country to be utilized. I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions, members, for Director Romero? Here? Yeah.
If one comes, others might follow. And here we are. One followed, and you might have more to come. So,
Yeah.
a great job by the port.
We're lucky, and I have Shane Wallet with me, the president of our Port Commission, and he's with us every step of the way. He works with these people. He's been working with Global Risers, and I'm lucky to have him on the commission. Represents the Lowerville area. Does a very good job, and I think all of y'all know who Shane is.
Yeah, absolutely.
But thank y'all for all the support in the past.
Thank you for being here, Director. At this time, members, are there any discussion on the main motion? Hearing none, roll call vote. Those in favor will signify by saying aye. Aye. Those
Unanimous
opposed?
second.
I have a unanimous second and vote by Councilman Napier. Is there any objection to it? Hearing no objection, that motion carries with a unanimous second. Going back to regular consent agenda items for public hearing and adoption, we have the minutes of regular meeting of July 26, 2023. Summary number 146, introduced by Lloyd Brown of District 4. Madam Clerk.
A resolution of condolences to the family of Mr. Marvin Ray Broussard, brother-in-law of Iberia Parish Council member Francis Tommy Pollard Sr., who passed away on July 13, 2023.
Summary number 147, introduced by the parish president.
A resolution authorizing the parish president to execute an intergovernmental agreement between the state of Louisiana through Coastal Protection and Restoration Authority Board, CPRA, and Iberia Parish government regarding the engineering and design of the Middle Valley Bayou Water Control Structure Project TV-0092 to provide for the effective date thereof and to otherwise provide with respect thereto.
Summary number 148, introduced by the parish president.
A resolution authorizing the parish president to execute an intergovernmental agreement between the state of Louisiana through Coastal Protection and Restoration Authority Board, CPRA, and Iberia Parish government regarding engineering and design of the George Lawson Canal Water Control Structure Project TV-0093 to provide for the effective date thereof and to otherwise provide with respect thereto.
Summary number 149, introduced by the parish president.
A resolution authorizing the parish president to execute an intergovernmental agreement between the State of Louisiana through the Coastal Protection and Restoration Authority Board, CPRA, and Iberia Parish Government regarding engineering and design of Rutten Reel Road Water Control Structure Project TV-0094 to provide for the effective date thereof and to otherwise provide with respect thereto.
Summary number 150, introduced by the parish president.
A resolution authorizing the parish president to execute an intergovernmental agreement between the State of Louisiana through the Coastal Protection and Restoration Authority Board, CPRA, and Iberia Parish Government regarding engineering and design of the Stumpy Bayou Water Control Structure Project TV-0095 to provide for the effective date thereof and to otherwise provide with respective thereto.
Summary number 151, introduced by the parish president.
Resolution authorizing the parish president to execute a memorandum of understanding by and between Iberia Parish Government and the city of West Monroe to utilize the West Monroe Convention Center as an emergency evacuation center upon Iberia Parish's declaration of an emergency and calling a mandatory evacuation of Iberia Parish effective until December 31st, 2026.
Summary number 152, introduced by the parish president.
A resolution granting substantial completion to the Waterworks District Number 3 Coteau Project Water Relocation for LA 88 to realign curves in Coteau, Iberia Parish, Louisiana by DOTD State Project Number H010922, FAP number H010922. All is completed by COD Construction of Louisiana, LLC, and as recommended by engineers for McBade Engineers and Consultants, LLC.
Do I have a motion to open consent agenda items? I have a motion by Councilman Brown, second by Councilman Olivier. Members, at this time, is there any request to remove a consent agenda item? Hearing none. Roll call, members. Those in favor will signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed? Hearing no opposition, the ayes have it, and the motion carries unanimously. Moving on to ordinances introduced for public hearing and adoption, we have summary number 5252, introduced by Regional Planning Commission.
An ordinance approving the reclassification request for the property of Roger Duncan located at Olive Road, New Iberia, Louisiana, from C2 commercial to R4 manufactured home located in District 14, subject to compliance with Zoning Commission Staff Report CZ 2023-0005. All is recommended, reviewed and recommended by the Iberia Parish Regional Planning Commission.
Do I have a motion? Motion by Councilman Olivier, second by Councilman Michael Landry. Councilman Olivier on discussion. Councilman Landry. Councilman Landry waives any main motion discussion. Members, just let the record reflect that our Planning Commission Director is here if you have any questions about this. Councilman Saunier on discussion?
Yeah, sure.
No problem at all. Mr. Weaver, if you could just step to the mic and state your name and title, please, for the record. It's been a couple of meetings. Welcome back.
Thank you, Council. Jacob Weaver, Iberia Parish Permits, Planning and Zoning. So Roger Duncan has a mobile home park on the backside of Oliver Road. This is not frontage road property. I think that was the only little bit of discussion we had on this was, you know, we're saving that main commercial area is still commercial. So it's just a little bit further off of Oliver Road. He wanted to put some RVs, but RV park, I would say. We are trying to get an RV park ordinance, but until then we have to zone it like a mobile home park. So once they cross the threshold with so many mobile homes, cross the threshold with RVs, we have to zone it first, which is R4 zoning. Everything was...
Is it adjacent to the other property?
Correct. Yeah, he owns all that property on the right side of Oliver Road, all the way to his park.
Councilman Saunier yields back. Was there any objection from any of the local residents at the Planning Commission?
We didn't receive any.
Okay. And it was favorably overwhelming by the commission?
Yes.
Members, any other questions for Mr. Weaver? Thank you, sir. If you want to just stay there for the next one, just in case. All right, members, hearing no other discussion, roll call. Those in favor will signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed? Hearing no opposition, the ayes have it, and the motion carries unanimously. Moving on to summary number 5253, introduced by the Regional Planning Commission.
An ordinance granting a variance to the property located at 5126 Highway 14 in District 13 for the installation of a monopole billboard on .420 acres tract subject to compliance with zoning commission staff report CZ 2023-0006, all is reviewed and recommended by the Iberia Parish Regional Planning Commission.
Do I have a motion? Have a motion by Councilman Olivier, and was the second by Councilman Landry? Councilman Michael Landry. Councilman Olivier on discussion? Councilman Landry.
Again, thank you for having me. So, gentleman, owner of the company, putting up a isolated billboard. This is way down on 14, north side of 14. So we allow these in our industrial zones. Our light commercial areas, we're kind of a little picky about them, but we leave that up to the public. Again, we didn't get any kickback. This is, a residential area next to it. They didn't get any kickback from them. So, we don't allow, we don't allow them. We ask for variances. It's not like a special use permit, like a dirt pit or anything like that. It's just, there was a seat, we're having to kick them into zoning because the property wasn't, let's say, zoned for what it was. So we're getting it properly zoned, but it still wasn't allowed for the type of zoning it was, which is C1, C2, which is neighborhood shopping. So we wouldn't want, let's say, billboards in the middle of town too much, so the neighborhood shopping areas keep it out of. But this is, like I say, isolated event. We didn't get any kickback from the neighbors, anybody, so it did receive a favorable vote from the commission. Concur.
Councilman Landry, you still have the floor. Councilman Landry yields back. Anyone else in discussion? Councilman Saunier?
I'm not a huge fan of billboards, so I will not support it.
Okay. Jacob, I do have a question. Like,
Yes, sir.
when you're rezoning a property, or, we put the notifications out by the blue signs, and then we notify the adjacent property owners, is that the same process when they're making an application for this?
Correct.
You notify everybody that's actually touches the partial?
If we do anything on planning and zoning, everybody within 500 feet gets a letter. Any kind of application to planning, any kind of application to zoning, everybody gets a notice on this. So
Everybody did get
everybody got a
notified on
notice.
this?
Anybody within 500
No.
feet, which was a lot of people on this one.
I'm just,
Adjacent and adjacent to
So
adjacent.
it's two.
Anybody within
No,
500
no
feet.
feedback at all, and the
No, sir.
commission?
I got a call for a question on it, but that was it.
Look, I'm not against them completely, but I can tell you over the last month, 2 months, I've had 3 of them come up on Center Street near me, city and parish. And not this particular, but a digital, real nice one. I just, at some point, we may have to address how many are we gonna allow to continue to put these up. Anyways, hearing no other discussion, members? Jacob, did you have anything else you wanted to add?
No, sir.
Good. All right. Hearing no other discussion, roll call, members. Those in favor will signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed?
Nay.
Councilman Saunier in opposition. That motion carries. Moving on to summary number 153, introduced by the parish president.
A resolution in support of Sinbar Resources, Inc., assuming the Foreign Trade Zone 124 designation number, FTZ number 124N, and activation by U.S. Customs and Border Protection.
Do I have a motion? For motion by Councilman Olivier, second by Councilman Trahan. Councilman Olivier in discussion. Councilman Trahan. Any main motion discussion, members? Hearing none, roll call. Those in favor will signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed? Hearing no opposition, the ayes have it, and the motion carries unanimously. Moving on to summary number 154, introduced by Lloyd Brown of District 4.
A resolution supporting Garen Paul Atkinson's Lewis Foundation request for capital outlay funding to bring a youth and community resource to Iberia Parish, especially for those in the juvenile justice system, to provide diversion programs, therapists, psychologists, and educational programming within New Iberia Teen Court.
Have a motion by Councilman Brown, second by Councilman Michael Landry. Councilman Brown. Councilman Landry. Any main motion discussion, members? Councilman Saunier on discussion. Yeah, come on, join us.
Yeah, go ahead, man. I love it.
Yeah, you like it? So, as usual, the issue I take with programs like this is that there is no discussion of operating and maintenance expense and how that's gonna be funded. So the second issue I have with it is, once again, I know they're kids, but they're not here. They didn't get into the juvenile system by running a red light or something. I would assume they're repeat offenders. No, that's not true.
Well,
Wait, back and forth, if you.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Mr. Sonia,
I'm-
Councilman, if you want to yield to her.
I'm good. I'm just gonna, I'll say that I will be in support of this in regards to the resolution to support it. But again, I would appreciate some planning to come back from the group to indicate how this is gonna be paid for at the end of the day. My heartache is that we continue to pay for people who are breaking laws, and we're not doing anything for the kids who are doing it right. So if at some point we could get a plan that'll show how we're gonna pay for this, that would be great.
Just to maybe answer your question.
Yeah, that's it.
I don't believe they asked for money from the parish government.
No, it's capital
This-
outlay money.
Through the state,
Through the
correct.
state.
Just to endorse
But
them.
we have to match it.
Mr. President,
If there's no objection, if you could state your name for that record, sir.
I am Raymond Shooter Lewis, the founder and president of the organization.
Go ahead, Mr. Lewis.
We are not here, and I thought I had made it perfectly clear, we are not here to ask the council to support our capital outlay project. We're doing that on our own because we did not want to get in a position to ask you to support our project, and then you as a council, capital outlay time, a lot of you have more, maybe what you consider more pressing issues. So we did not come to ask for any support for funding. But I don't mind sharing whatever information with you, but we did not come to ask you for supportive money. We're doing that on our own. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Lewis. We do have just a little.
Just a comment that merits some discussion. So there is a portion of the resolution.
Mike,
There's a portion of the
Hold on one second,
resolution.
Ian, if you don't mind, please.
tap it.
But
Is it
his
on?
green button doesn't look like it's lit up in the back,
is.
is it?
Yeah, it's on.
Oh, it's
All
on.
right,
Okay.
I'll just speak.
Talk loud.
Sorry
I'll
about
talk
that, Ian.
loud.
Go ahead.
There's a portion of the resolution in the whereas section, and I'll just read the whole thing so you can see the issue. Whereas Iberia Parish Government wishes to express its full and complete support of the GPAL Foundation capital outlay request and its commitment to provide its pro rata share of any required matching funds should their request be funded. So I think that if this is just a resolution in support, that paragraph should be stricken, if it's gonna say what it's supposed to say.
Okay, you still have the floor, Councilman Sonia.
I'm good. But
Okay, Councilman Sonia yields back. Is there anyone else on discussion? Councilwoman Broussard?
I'd move to strike that portion of the resolution that says that we're committing to pay our pro rata share.
Okay, we have a substitute motion on the floor to amend
Second.
paragraph to strike through as stated by legal. I have a second by Councilman Napier. Councilwoman Russo, you do have the floor for discussion on the substitute. Did you waive? Okay. Councilman Napier? Anyone else on discussion on the substitute members? Okay, hearing none. Roll call on the substitute motion. Roll call. Those in favor will signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed? Hearing no opposition, the ayes have it, and the motion carries unanimously. Now back to the main motion with the substitute for 154. Roll call, members. Those in favor will signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed? Hearing no opposition, the ayes have it, and the motion carries with the amended language. Just to remind the general public that our next meeting is August 23rd, and that we have adjudicated property still available on Civic Source, found on iberiaparishgovernment.com. Without any special privileges, I'll need a motion to adjourn. Have a motion by Councilman Napier. Second by Councilman Pollard. Roll call, members. Those in favor will signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, hearing no opposition, the ayes have it, and the motion carries unanimously. We're now adjourned.